Alright, so I was able to get the subframe back. We did get all this welded up. So basically all stitch weld. Got some plate welded in there, got this welded up, and then kind of boxed in the bottom, and then basically got all this welded up. Got a plate welded here, got this boxed in, and then basically kind of welded that up too. So now we're going to use some Scotch-Brite, basically scuff up the whole subframe and throw a coat of high temp paint on here to get this to look nice and fresh. Alright, so I've got it all cleaned up, scuffed up, ready to put some paint on it. So this is what it looks like before, and I'll show you what it looks like after. Alright, so we got this all painted up, looking very nice. Kind of a semi-gloss, so it's not too shiny, not too matte. I think everything came out perfect. So let's go ahead and get this installed in the car and move on towards getting that engine finally assembled in the car.
To laughter and long nights we left behind. We were young, wild under open skies, chasing horizons with open eyes. Yeah, I walk along where we once ran, through streets that still hold the shape of our place. The skyline feels like a friend I knew, holding the echoes of me and you.
Alright, so we got the subframe all bolted in. We got these two major bolts here, right there, and then we got the lower control arm bolt there. Got both sides all bolted in. Still got the transmission up on the jack stand, so it's not touching the subframe yet. Got everything in. It looks nice and clean. Should have enough clearance here for the up pipe now. So we'll go ahead and get that engine thrown in here just to make sure that we've got enough room for everything.
Chasing horizons with open eyes. Are you ready? Along where we once ran through streets that still hold the shape of our plans. The skyline feels like a friend I knew, holding the echoes of me and you.
Alright, we finally have the engine fully in the car. You can see down here I've got plenty of room, clearance on the up pipe, so we are good. Everything looks great so far. Show you underneath. Alright, underside we've got plenty of clearance obviously. ETS exhaust or header is fitment's great. Down here we've got more than enough clearance. Put my finger through here, so everything looks great. Now I need to find the placements for the EGT bungs. That way the routing of the wires can be clean and not rubbing on anything. I'm gonna try to get them mounted up on the frame rails so that way I can just unplug if I need and replace, so it's serviceable. But I needed to get the engine in here first to identify any potential issues. Alright, so I got the turbo kit pretty much installed, but I am having some fitment issues. And I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong here. So obviously there's a gap there. No matter what I do, I swivel this either way. Doesn't really get much closer. I do have this bracket on the back side. I did see some people that are on this side, but when I tried to do that, it would not fit. I even loosened up this V-band down here for the up pipe, and I could not swivel it. This is kind of close. I can barely fit my finger through there, which is a concern. And this is kind of how the orientation is. Cuts very close to here. When I put the intake on, you can see it's very close to that brake line. And then if I kind of move it so there's a gap, it gets pretty close down here and almost hits that bolt, which I'm sure it would. So that doesn't fit very well. Underneath the vehicle, I've got this. This has got plenty of room down here. I've got the bolt down there and it is pretty much centered. However, if I push it this way, like that, to give me more clearance, it pushes the turbo that way, the snout, which is the opposite. So if I move it closer, like this, that's an option. does allow me to kind of clock the turbo this way, but too much, and you can see it pretty much closes the gap. I feel like this is where it's supposed to be. I feel like that's closer to where it's supposed to be because you can see this gap is closing up, and this kind of moves it in closer this way so that way it creates more clearance here. So back underneath you can see there's literally no clearance here for me to keep that turbo, and as soon as I move this pipe outwards, it moves the turbo back the other way. So gotta work on that issue. Not sure what I'm doing wrong here. So that's what I've got for this week, guys. Appreciate you dropping by. I gotta spend some more time on that turbo fitment, basically try to figure out what I'm doing wrong there, get that aligned. I do have the EGT bungs pretty much marked out. I'm gonna drill those holes, get those welded. I was hoping to get the O2 bung welded on the downpipe. That's kind of why I was messing with the turbo placement, but that's not 100% yet, so back to the drawing board.